Convention People's Party is questioning why the National Communications Authority, NCA, has allowed foreign telecommunication firms to collect state data all in the name of re-registering SIM cards of citizens. As part of the new SIM re-registration exercise, customers are required to visit the telcos in person for their biometric data to be collected after starting the process online. Describing the process as cumbersome and insecure, chairperson of the Convention People's Party, Nana Akosua-Frimpong, says the NCA has illustrated the absence of vision and poor leadership. And joining me now in studio is the chairperson herself, who is helping us to examine the exercise, which has been ongoing for months now, and we'll understand very shortly what the concerns of the CPP really is. Such a good time to have you. Welcome.
Wonderful.
So first of all, many would have expected that the exercise is that smooth, and so we're not experiencing a lot of challenges. And when I mean challenges, I mean in terms of the infrastructure that is hosting the registration exercise. However, the CPP is also raising this new angle about data. Why are you so concerned about the issue of data?
I am into IT.
Okay.
I believe in data. I believe that is what the world is today. When I look at young people like you, and I look at the future that we have, I look at the fact that we don't even own any of our minerals anymore. We don't own our gold, nothing. I look at the way we were demarcated as Africans. I look at the fact that we don't have much as we are placed today as a Ghanaian or an African within the continent. And it's all happened in the past. And I'm sitting here today and I understand what data is. And I had a problem with my phone. My Momo was blocked. So just to try and get it unblocked and try and do the registration, it took me several hours. And within that same small space of MTN, the 4 locations, the 4 desks I went to, all of them took my bio data. They took my facial image, they took, and then finally, when I needed to register the SIM card, they had to take back with an app.
Right.
An app I have no clue. Indeed, one of the guys who had the app was the security boy who was standing there when I tried to enter.
So this is even personal experience?
Personal experience.
Right.
And for me, since it's so important that we don't become citizens, spectators, and we have to be citizens, we need to think of the future and have very few questions. The question here is simple. Who is in charge of our data? Who? Is it NIA? Is it what do you call them? The data protection agency? Is it the private sector? Who is collecting the data and who is in charge? Because I can tell you that the data that they were collecting, I even took pictures of people. There is no system in place to protect the security.
And I'm just looking at your statement now. You are referring to portions, some of these activities as, quote, seemingly exploitative and manipulative.
Precisely.
Why is this really the fault of the telcos, particularly when we know that we brought this onto ourselves? It is the government of Ghana that says we want to carry out this re-registration exercise.
Yes, but I went to 4 locations.
Yeah, but why fault the telcos, particularly when we know it's the government of Ghana that's doing it?
Yeah, both of them. Right. But even if the telcos, Ghana government said they should do it and they had been given the mandate, which they don't have the mandate. By our constitution or by our laws, it is NIA that has the mandate to collect this kind of data. But even within that telco office, why should I go through 4 different pictures in the same office, the same small location? The guy who was taking the chip, giving me my chip, my SIM card, actually took my number, took my card, took information. The next person did the same thing, same process. Right. And here is my point. If we do not ask the right questions, if we do not insist, then do you know where your data is sitting? The guy who took the app, do you know whether it's sitting, it went to Dubai, to ISIS? You don't know, you have no clue. It should never happen that way.
You feel there are security implications?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, because the boy did not show me what app he was using. He just took my palm and let's took one here, one there. The other gentleman, the first gentleman also took my picture, showing me nothing. The other lady took my picture, nothing. The other lady took my picture, nothing. What is that?
So what you see now is lack of coordination, as you would want to term it.
No.
In terms of who really should handle the data.
Yeah, I'm saying that Even if I said private sector should not handle my biodata.
Okay, so in all of this exercise, you believe that the telcos should be taking off
completely, and I think that
but they run the numbers, the SIM cards.
Yeah, first of all, they were not supposed. That's a different chart. They're not supposed to even have the numbers. The numbers are supposed to be for government, and they give it to them. But in this case, they own the numbers. The telco owns the number. He now has your biodata. He's taking your picture, your national ID. What do you have as a government? What do you have as a Ghanaian? Nothing. Because they have your number, and they have your biodata, and they have your telco. You know what is happening? Somebody is not doing this. Is not doing their work.
And that's why I'm interested in the solutions, because if you have identified a problem, obviously there should be a way out. What's the CPP solution to all of these things?
Make it simple. Somebody let the institutions work. The NIA is supposed to be the one that has the mandate to take my biodata and keep it for government and keep it for the purpose for which it's being collected. If the telcos wants any information and wants to, he should not take my image, take everything for me. He should link it to the system and get a code and an authentication for the purpose and then continue. But not that everywhere you go, they take your picture, they take your palm, they take your image, they take your biodata. They want to find out how your fingers are working. This is what you have for the rest of your life. So what is left for our children? What is left for our children when they come in here? They will have a country where data is no more for them. The data belongs to some other multinationals as they own our gold and everything else.
Are you not hyping matters here?
No,
particularly when we know that there's obviously benefits to data integration, which the NCA has spoken about. The Ministry of Communications has actually laid out in clear terms how integrating all of this data will help in national development.
No, but how do you... That's my point. They will own nothing. Trust me on this matter. You see how...
You feel there's no benefit at all?
No, the benefit, the concept, the idea is great.
Right.
But
so you
the
believe in the
implementation...
idea?
Oh, absolutely.
So how about making it better?
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying now. That the way to make it better is to ensure that the data being collected by NIA stays there and is protected. And then anybody who needs access must be given access in a way that still protects me, but not in a way that the person can just take my information. Because the moment the person does it, then NIA becomes obsolete, has no base, is useless because...
But listen, you mean the Data Protection Commission as well? Or,
including
all of these agencies?
What's work? I don't even think they are working. You know why? Can they tell me today that the gentleman sitting at the MTN office in Medina that took my information, that he actually used a system that they are sure or know where the data went to? They have no clue. They don't have a clue, and that's the point. That's scary. It's the same thing that we are doing. I think institutions in this country must start working, and people that are being paid, who are sitting there with their taxpayers' money, all these millions of money that are going out there, billions for that matter, they must work and make sure that the Ghanaian is protected and our children. Otherwise, you see, I can see the future when it comes to data, because I saw people like Mark Zuckerberg and all these people coming today. Look at them, they are multi-billionaires just because they have this data. And a whole country, we don't have our data. What we have collected, we spend so much money, humongous effort, everybody. And then now the data is being given to the telcos. And I'm also giving them again my biodata. What is the point? What sense does it make? Because what you're doing is making it that if I need any information that's really authenticated, really something, I should be going to the telcos, not NIA.
You seem not to have any trust at all for the telcos working in Ghana. Is that the case?
No, you know what?
Why not trust them at least? The fact that they are operating in Ghana and
same way we trusted them.
Live up to expectations.
Yeah, the same way that our forefathers trusted the invaders and they came in, took us as slaves, took us somewhere. We should not. This is beyond trust. We have intelligence. We know now. People have gone to school. People are educated. We know what data is. We know exactly what to do. We shouldn't sit there and let our children be wondering, where were my fathers? What was my mother doing? Why didn't our parents really protect us? Because by the time they need information, they would pay so much for the information from these private sector multinationals again. Why should we be doing this? We've already taken my information, giving me a personal ID, which is the Ghana card. If somebody needs to know who I am, let the person authenticate it through a system that's secured. Why take my information? Because you know something, and I'm really saying this, I want them to listen to me.
And this is to the NIA.
Right? NIA, Government of Ghana, Parliamentary of Ghana, every one of them. When you give your biodata to the telcos, what you have ended up doing is that you're giving your right and everything to the telcos.
And that's where, well, some would have issues with you, that you're impugning ill motive without providing any evidence. The CPP as of now hasn't given evidence.
No, I have.
Of breach of data. You haven't given any evidence.
What evidence do you need?
Because you would not be able to prove that readily, would you? I mean, how do you know that the verification process is not going directly to the back end of
that's the point.
Such as the NIA?
And you don't know, do you?
But you also haven't provided evidence to the contrary. That's the
point. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm here. And that's
but you're imputing ill motive. It's as though...
No, it's not ill motive. It is to say that we Ghanaians must become citizens and not spectators. Okay. It's to say that we must take responsibility. It's to say that we must know what is happening. It's to say that when I go to a place and the security guy at the gate now starts taking my biodata with an app, not on a system that I can see NIA written there, but with an app. I don't see no executive there. I am concerned. And I'm concerned because I'm a Ghanaian. And as CPP, we are here for the Ghanaian. We are here to ensure that Ghana works for the people, because it is for the very same reason that we ask the colonial masters or invaders, for that matter, to leave this country, so that we'll be able to govern and that we are capable. Capability means that you take responsibility and your destiny into your own hands. Data is the current, the future, and the next to come. And we must not play with our data.
Right. I wish I had the figures now. The NCA, in fact, has been giving updates on the latest, the rate of registration. I wish we could roll that on your screens for you right now, so that you see the number of persons who have actually gone through this exercise. We'll get that for you shortly. So you get a picture and a sense of how many people have gone through the process. But we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people who have gone through the registration process already. So it appears that it's too late, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not. Government should let people sign something. It's not. They should take back our data and make sure that the data is protected. Somebody must sign something. We can't sit down and do this. And maybe even the number of hours you takes you to enter the system. And okay, let me give you a typical example. When they took my facial image, you know, it compares the imagery to make sure we are the same person. And they used my Ghana card. The Ghana card, I wasn't smiling. And when they asked me, I put on my smile. They couldn't, it didn't work. So then it tells me that whatever app they were using, it's not a very strong, it's not a powerful app. It's just some simple system like anybody can do. So it is important that Ghana government finds out what is going on. We are the people.
You want an investigation to all
immediate investigation. I'm writing to Parliament. We are writing to NIA. We need for them to immediately be on top. Let them be on top. We can't live in a nation that the only time we see there's a problem is when there's a problem. You understand? You see gas station in the wrong places, in the neighborhoods, that's not supposed to be there. Where are the regulatory bodies? Where are the people that are supposed to regularize and make sure that things work in this country?
So it's as though you're of the view and opinion that quite a lot of things are not really working in this country. And part of it has got to do with the economy, which I understand the CPP has issues with as well. The president says things will be better. You don't believe that?
Oh, as for things being better, we all hope things get better. I mean, as I was coming here, I was very concerned about the potential world war. I mean, if you go into any third, this thing, all of us won't survive.
You're talking about the Russian crisis, I guess.
My son thinks that, we are in Africa, we should go to the village, but it's a joke, you understand? So I know there are issues. It's been compounded by the Iranian and Russian crisis. And so I don't want to say at this point what we would do and how we would. There's a fundamental difference in the way MPP approaches the economy and the way we approached our economy. Basic difference is that we focus on state-led economy.
Okay.
We believe that the state must be rich. Not that nobody should have private sector. We believe in private sector too, but the state must be rich enough. We must own our data. You understand? I believe in that. We shouldn't sit there and let people come pick our data, give it to the multinationals, and then sit there and hope that when you need information, you pay something for that. Yeah. I don't believe in that.
But also on the other issues that you raised, obviously the CPP has been watching the dialogue and, debate over the Ghanaian economy. What solutions and proposals do you have to table before government on this?
Our manifesto clearly states two major things we would have done. One of the things we will do when we come into power is to ensure that the state-owned or our bauxite, is that what it is? All the things that we own that we don't even have 10 to 15% of, I believe must be renegotiated. As a business, it must be renegotiated. See where your building is. I'm sure the people who own this property did not just sell you the property or sell you the land. They would go into some arrangement with you because they have prime land. That is what you do. We own the gold, we own the oil, we own the bauxite. Somebody with equipment should not get more than you have unless within a short period of time where they pay off their equipment. The rest you must own a considerable portion of it. How long have we been mining gold in Obuasi and how much of it do we own? That is a joke.
You feel that's why our economy is not working?
How can the economy work? You are trying to do e-levy, trying to get 6 billion. When you look at the amount of money that's leaving this country, which is our money, we are just being joking. How much do we pay for debt? We've borrowed so much. So I don't want to sit here and say the problem is just mismanagement. Mismanagement is part of it. But that is not the chunk part. It's the fact that the state is broke. Private sector is not owned by Ghanaians. And you are talking about private sector and property owning democracy. Where the private sector, the state is broke, private sector is multinationals. You give all these monies to them. It's not magic. It's basic sense. And that is exactly what CPP did on the certificate of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That's why we put in all these factories. That's why we wanted to own our minerals. Right. That's why we put the silos so that we can own the cocoa and produce here. If we don't produce here, if we don't own our minerals, if we are going to give a short part of it to people who have just the machines, we are going to be broke.
So basically you're asking the president to go learn from the books of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Is that what you're asking the president to do?
The president himself, I'm telling you today, and it's a known fact, the president himself was a study for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's that he is what do you call those people? Right. CPP or a CPP. He was a CPP bearing a member, a carry bearing member. So it is not like for him to learn. He just needs to understand. I mean, he's taken a lot of good things from us. He took the free education, which is working, but the part that will produce the money, they haven't done it. He actually said Ghana beyond AIDS, and I loved it when he said that because I knew that was the direction we are going. You don't get beyond AIDS when you don't own your bauxite. You don't get beyond AIDS when you don't own your oil. You don't get beyond AIDS when you don't own your gold, and you don't definitely not get anywhere when you don't own your data. Right. The data is the cheapest and the easiest. Let's own our data so that we can have the funds and everything that we have to have.
Nana, let's talk about it. I'm grateful that you've been able to join us here on The Pulse. Don't forget that we'll be talking about education shortly. When we return, we'll tell you more about that. But you need to get this. In fact, there are some figures coming through. The Pre-Tertiary Act 2020 actually guarantees the right to free universal basic education for all Ghanaian children, regardless of the agenda efforts at implementing the policy has actually led to some 37% enrollment at the primary level, with a free senior high school policy also yielding some 77.67% enrollment. In spite of this, challenges of school dropouts continue to derail the progress, with 30% of dropout cases among schoolgirls attributed to teenage pregnancy emanating from poverty. Even more worrying is that over 100,000 average teenage pregnancies actually occurring yearly, as reported by the Ghana Health Service, is what we're dealing with today. Now, here's Africa Education Watch, a special look at the situation happening.